Elvis Presley desperately wanted his young girlfriend, Priscilla Presley, to move in with him in 1963, but her parents would not allow it. Eventually, the legendary singer took matters into his own hands and called her parents to make them some promises about their future together. But he wasn't entirely truthful. Elvis Presley is being celebrated this month after his latest biopic, Elvis, from Baz Luhrmann, has hit cinemas. While the blockbuster touches on Elvis's first meeting in 1959 with his future wife, Priscilla Presley, née Beaulieu, there are a lot of details the movie left out about the pair's relationship through the years. In particular, how Elvis persuaded the parents of the 16-year-old to move in with him in Graceland. Elvis met Priscilla in Friedberg, Germany, while he was stationed there in the U.S. Army. The young woman was just 14 years old at the time, but it was love at first sight. The 25-year-old's time in the Army came to an end in 1960, whereupon he left the country and returned to the USA. He was living in Graceland at the time, in Memphis, Tennessee. The young lovers stayed in contact. They were constantly on the phone to one another, and soon talks turned to Priscilla taking a trip to see Elvis in Graceland. She joined him one summer where their lies to Priscilla's parents began. They promised the pair they would stay in Memphis when in reality they went to Los Angeles to party. Meanwhile, Elvis's pals in the Memphis Mafia sent Priscilla's parents postcards from Memphis to cover their stories. She also him at Christmas in 1962. But Elvis wanted more. He didn't want to be apart from Priscilla ever again. So he started to convince Priscilla to move in with him permanently. There was one problem, though. Priscilla's parents were not convinced by the idea. So Elvis took things into his own hands. He made a call to her mother, Anne, and her stepfather, Captain Paul Beaulieu, to ask if he could move Priscilla to the USA permanently. In order to convince the worried parents, he made some assurances. First of all, and most importantly, he promised that Priscilla would go to the best Catholic school money could buy. She would finish her education and come out of it with a high school diploma. If that wasn't enough, he also assured Anne and Captain Paul that Priscilla would not be living with him in Graceland. Instead, he pitched Priscilla moving in with his father, Vernon Presley, who had recently remarried to a woman named Dee and lived nearby. As if that wasn't enough, Elvis told Anne and Captain Paul that the young couple would be chaperoned everywhere they went. In a final effort to convince Priscilla's parents, Elvis told them he loved, needed, and respected the young woman. This could have been seen as a veiled hint that he would eventually marry her. Just 3 months later, in March 1963, the deal was done. Priscilla moved to the USA. However, not all of Elvis's promises were kept. Priscilla became uncomfortable living with Vernon and his wife. So before long, she moved into Graceland with Elvis. But shortly after that, there was a major upheaval for the young couple and for Priscilla's domestic dreams. Elvis began taking on more gigs in Hollywood as a movie star. So he was out of Memphis for months at a time. Then in 1963, Elvis became romantically involved with his Viva Las Vegas co-star, Anne Margaret. Their affair lasted for just over a year behind closed doors, but eventually, Priscilla found out. Once she did, she was furious. She demanded that Elvis end the relationship and commit to her fully. During Christmas 1966, Elvis finally proposed to Priscilla. Things moved quickly from there. Elvis and Priscilla got married in a quiet, private ceremony on May 1, 1967. They were wed in the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas after flying into the city on Frank Sinatra's jet in the dead of night. The small ceremony was filled with close friends and family, as well as some music industry execs, invited by Colonel Tom Parker. Just 9 months later to the day, on February 1, 1968, the pair's only child, Lisa Marie Presley, was born. Things didn't last for the couple, though. They later divorced on 1973.
Please subscribe, like and hit the notification button for more videos.